then, people have really innovated at the unit level to ensure that the squadrons keep moving forward. We've seen some squadrons connect with former cadets. We've seen them connect with people who are distant. I know a group at St. Mary's connected with some cadets who were in the Philippines at the time. So, 12-hour shift in time schedule, and yet they were joining in with those virtual meetings, something that never would have been possible previously. And yet this is the kind of thing that we've seen out of our units. We've seen some squadrons that were previously separated would have never really shown up to one another's meetings, collaborate and arrive together and really put the work in this virtual environment to make the entirety of the Civil Air Patrol that much stronger and that much better. Speaking just for myself and Colonel LaPrey, I know that we have been going to units both virtually and in person, and I've been to, I think, 3 units now myself, and I know that Colonel LaPrey has been to several. So it's really been fantastic, the ability to just in an instant be able to join in with another squadron and talk to him. Bob Pardo of Pardo Push fame, those of you in the audience, especially you cadets who remember your wingman course, visited Cumberland and spoke to them. So this has been an opportunity to really get some people who otherwise might not have been able to visit these units into these units and talking to them. And for evidence of that, look no further than the 2020 Airman Leadership School, which we did virtually. We had Captain Jason LaPrey of the United States Air Force and Sergeant Kyle Higgins of the United States Army dial in from Japan and Italy, respectively, and speak to our cadets, a group of over 50, for the better part of an hour. And that was really complex with their schedules, but it worked out fantastically well for ours. These guys knew each other as a great chemistry together, and it was really fantastic to really let them reconnect on the fly and not only fill one another in on what they had been up to in their careers, but also to talk to our cadets about it. And again, you know, having 2 former cadets reconnect on opposite sides of the planet like this, it was really fantastic to see that kind of group dynamic that you'd expect out of people who'd grown up in this program together. We, of course, continued with CyberPatriot. For those of you unfamiliar with the competition, it's broken into 3 divisions, 2 of which are further subdivided into 3 tiers. The Platinum tier is the highest level of competition. Maryland Wing teams compete in that competition in 2020, and we had several podium finishes in the state of Maryland. From left to right there, we had St. Mary's take 2nd place in the state in the Platinum tier in the All-Service Division. We had Hagerstown take 3rd place in that same tier, in that same division, and we also had a 3rd place finish from Hartford in the Gold tier in the All-Service Division. So really outstanding performances from our Civil Air Patrol squadrons in Maryland Wing. And of course, the All-Service Division, it's not just Civil Air Patrol. This includes junior ROTC units. And the fact that we are performing so well against so many other teams, I think it speaks really, really highly of the ability of our members. And if you're interested in learning more about this, I'll give a quick plug to Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ryu's presentation later on today about CyberPatriot. Go to that, really learn about more ways to get involved. It's a great program. We, of course, had the Ocean City Airshow. It was originally scheduled for mid-summer, and it got pushed to August. But we had a lot of folks show up to that and enjoy demos from the F-22 Raptor demo team, the F-35 demo team, the A-10 demo team, and the Thunderbirds. That was a great event for us. So I'm sure you're all curious with 2020, what's coming in 2021? Well, we can certainly say that we're going to push for more stuff like this. This is a picture from our Warrior Day just in the past couple of weeks. We got folks out to Gunpowder Military, the same place that a lot of people go for tri-wing encampment. Got them climbing on the obstacles. They know it, or excuse me, they really enjoyed that. We know they did. And we're going to be looking to do more events like that with appropriate personal protective equipment, appropriate social distancing. But as long as we're in groups of less than 50 or more recently groups of 25, we can do stuff like this, and we're going to continue doing that. Of course, the orientation rides, the operations, those will continue in 2021. That's something to look forward to. And of course, color guard. Color guard only requires 6. It requires the 4 cadets to put the team together and a couple of senior members. And whether we're doing it virtually or we're doing it in person, we can continue to do color guard presentations. So that's certainly something to look forward to. This photo in particular is from a change of command back in January, I believe. In addition, of course, we'll continue with CyberPatriot. One of our great initiatives this year was to try to get units paired up who otherwise did not have the resources they needed to field a team, whether they had mentors who did not have cadets or vice versa. So from last year to this year, we increased our registration. We went from 8 teams registered in the wing to 12. And I'm really happy that we were able to do that and that we were able to connect people because there are so many cadets that are interested in a competition like this. And we're really happy that we could put them together. Of course, CyberPatriot itself is now more flexible with social distancing because they have to make accommodations too. All of their stuff has to be done virtually. They can't necessarily rely on teams to be in the same room together. So that flexibility, that's actually a huge recruiting boost to us because we have teams, we have cadets that are interested in this competition that are separated by a couple hours worth of driving who are now in the same virtual room together. So we're really happy we could put that together. Also want to give a plug to Cyber Start. This is more of an individually driven, individually motivated game that is cybersecurity related, and it is a great opportunity to get people involved who maybe aren't as familiar with cyber, maybe aren't quite ready for CyberPatriot, or even folks who just need a refresher on those skills. It goes from the very basics to really complex issues within cybersecurity. So it's a great program. We learned about this from Junior ROTC, and we're going to be looking to get more tokens for this game in 2021 to get more of our cadets involved. Of course, we want to expand cadet leadership in 2021. We want to have an expanded role for CAC, which is something that Colonel LaPrey is focusing on in his term as wing commander. We want to get our CAC more involved in wing decisions. We want to know what the cadets want out of this program, what they think could be changed about the program. And of course, we want their advice for some of the things that General Smith talked about earlier today. Public affairs, especially with regard to social media. These are the kinds of things that we need input on from our cadets, and it's certainly something that we're going to be tapping them for in the near future. Of course, we're going to expand the role for Phase 4 cadets at the wing level. We have an open role right now for recruiting and retention at Maryland Wing, and we've just recently filled a role at IT and plans and programs with cadets at the wing level. We want to give people that strategic level experience that our cadets should expect and should appreciate. And those are the things that Maryland Wing we want to bring to our people. Of course, we're going to continue with the cadet competition. For those unfamiliar, everybody loves stuff like this, getting together and really competing against your fellow cadets. It consists of PT, a uniform inspection, several indoor and outdoor presentation events, and of course academics on top of all of that. So it really is a well-rounded competition when it comes to leadership, aerospace, and wear of the uniform. It's really fantastic for our cadets. So we're going to continue that. And if we need to do this by group and have several teams compete individually at various locations, and we just move around to grade them, we can do that. If we have the ability to get them all together in one place, we can do that too. So we have a plan in either instance to ensure that the cadet competition goes forward at the wing level. But something that I'm really excited to bring to you is unmanned aerial systems. This is something that I think just about everybody has hit on today, is the use of these. And this is something that we have been particularly passionate about getting our cadets involved in Maryland Wing. So this group of cadets is competing in what's called the UAS for STEM national competition in Muncie, Indiana. And the UAV that they're using there, you see on the table, a couple of cadets for scale, right? That is the Mid-Atlantic Multi-Rotor Quadzilla. And you can do a lot with this UAV. You can more or less program it customized to do the things that you want. And one of the things that they do in the competition is fly a series of waypoints along the ground. Here is the mission planner software that's built in with that UAV. Download it to your computer, have a USB device, connect to the UAV, and go flying. They fly a series of waypoints. They find a series of ground targets. And one of the things that I think is really cool, they prosecute a couple of those ground targets. I don't know if you can see the picture there, but that's actually a water balloon suspended below that UAV there. So they prosecute 3 ground targets of the 8 or so that they usually look for, in addition to flying approximately 12 waypoints. It's a timed competition. I would say with the ground targets, it's search and rescue related. And because of the team composition, because there are between 4 and 6 people there on the ground, up to 10, but 4 to 6 is usually what our teams have used. A significant amount of leadership, communication, deconfliction, things like that. Everybody has their own role on the ground, and they've got to make sure that they're properly communicating that role, the information from that role, to those who need it. Now, cost is probably the biggest barrier here. That Quadzilla is not cheap. So that's where the majority of the money goes for registering new teams. As you can see there, it's almost $2,000. So at Maryland Wing, we're going to be looking for ways that we can get grants for our teams to go ahead and go out and do this. But speaking just from personal experience, I work in the defense industry. I work in technology. I know that there are people out there who are interested in sponsoring these things. So I have experienced the challenge of fundraising for this, but I know that it can be overcome. And I'm really excited to bring this to you guys in 2021. I'd really like to see more Maryland Wing teams compete. So of course, Maryland Wing is going to be looking for ways to fundraise for this. And of course, we're going to be leaning on the squadrons a little bit to reach out to their local communities and see what they can find in terms of people who might be interested in sponsoring their team to go out and do something like this. Regional competitions are right here in Maryland. Not every state is that lucky. I think the other ones are in Maine and Florida, at least on the East Coast. So we're really lucky that it's right in our backyard, that we can go out, compete, and get results, really know how we would fare in the national competition. We've got a lot of experience in Maryland Wing. St. Mary's has been doing this for the last 4 years running, and they've gotten a podium finish in the national competition every year that they've done it. So I am confident that we have the experience within Maryland Wing that we can make our teams competitive to go forward and do this. And it's not just fun for the teams, but there are cash prizes involved. So when our teams do get a podium finish, they get a cash prize and all the publicity that goes along with that. So I'm sure everybody's curious about Encampment. I want to pitch a new idea to you, and if you're interested, invite you to come to the Cadet Programs Roundtable starting at 3 o'clock today, because this is one of the things that we're going to discuss there. This is my pitch for a hybrid encampment schedule. I came up with this more or less on a dare. I was talking to a group of folks and I said, well, why can't we do it hybrid? And they said, oh, there's no way. And then I kind of pitched this idea to them and they thought, oh, well, that might be reasonable. So we do the virtual session using everything that we learned from this year's Airman Leadership School. We have 200 cadets in this virtual session. We do our classes, our drill in breakout sessions, our PT, all the things that you can do over the web. And then in person, in 50 or less or 25 or less, whatever the restrictions may be, we do the orientation flights. We do the obstacle courses. We do the military orientation rides. In other words, we do all of the things that cadets love to do. And I think we can pull this off. With that, I will take any questions you have.
Wonderful, thank you. With that, since you're opening it up for questions, I'll go ahead and enable the unmute function. I know we had one comment from Colonel Ralph that would probably be good to shout out, and over to the rest of the audience for your questions.
Okay, how can we get more O flights for cadets? So I've been working on that myself. I think what I'd like to do is a sort of a sort of fly-in similar to the Young Eagles did with the EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Association, prior to the start of all this and the social distancing and such. I think if we do that around the state in groups of 25 or less, I think that's easily manageable. But stay tuned is the short answer. We're gonna figure out ways to do that. In addition, please do reach out to your local units with aircraft who meet at airports, and see if they need people to see if they're looking for people to go flying with them. I have been to units where the cadets, for one reason or another, just don't want to fly. It's just not something that they joined the program for. So definitely you can reach out to those units. Sometimes those pilots will get right back to you and say, yeah, absolutely, we'll go flying with you. I did not record Airman Leadership School, but if you get with me offline, I'm happy to go over it with you and talk a little bit about some of the things that we did. Or if you have a specific question here, I'm happy to try and answer that as well.
I'm going to jump in with the audio here.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is Major Ralph, Director of Operations. And as far as the question about getting more O flights, all you have to do is pick a date and coordinate it through the operations section. We can broadcast a call for pilots and airplanes and set it up at any airport you want.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Hopefully that answers the question about O flights. Anything else?
Just want to add for Colonel Trick, I would love to have some of your cadets with UAS experience get involved in the larger UAS program within CAP. We're trying to ramp it up, and having some experienced cadets to represent that to other cadets might be helpful.
All right, very good. Yeah, absolutely. We will get in touch with you. Is the virtual encampment actually going to be a thing? I think we can do this. I don't think it's outrageous. That seems like an easy enough ask given what we've done with Airman Leadership School. Since we're waiting on a couple more questions, I'll kind of speak to what we did with that event. So how we kind of did it was we got all of our cadets really in the environment that you would expect. We expected them to wake themselves up and log in by 6 o'clock. And quite honestly, the cadets that signed up for a virtual event like that are already some of your more motivated. It's really nothing to worry about, conveniently. So at least to my knowledge, and I remember looking pretty closely at the roster as we were rolling through that school, we never had a problem with attendance. The cadets got themselves out of bed, logged in at 6 o'clock, did their PT. We gave them 30 minutes to an hour for breakfast, and then we launched right into classes. And we had similar expectations there as you might have here at here in this environment. And we had to ensure that they were participating, that they were active, and that they were carrying out the duties that one might expect. Is in-person encampment still going on? Yeah, that's a good question. I think if we did it distributed style, like what I'm suggesting, it would be down to the groups or even down to the squadron to go ahead and organize that aspect of it, with wing assistance, of course. You know, the big asks, you know, the military orientation flights, the rappelling, things like that. Those would be the things that wing would help to organize. But ultimately, that would be down to just a couple of units getting together and doing the stuff on appropriate schedule. Obviously, one of the demands for encampment is that it be overnight. So one of the things that we would have to work out is if we could get a waiver for that, if we could have it qualify as overnight, assuming that we were doing the appropriate scheduling, you know, as I say, that 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. kind of schedule. But these are challenges that I'm pretty sure we can overcome. Hopefully that answers the question about in person. Okay, great. How does capability to reposition aircraft for a day of O flights?
Absolutely. In fact, we could probably reposition 2 or 3.
All right, fantastic. There you go. Yes, and then how does Cadet Achievement compare to this time last year? Let's see, let me go back to my slide. Okay, so this is what I have regarding Cadet Achievement. This time, for the same period last year, 2018 to 2019, we had 80 Wright brothers, 31 Mitchells, 17 Earharts, 3 Akers. This year, 2019 to 2020, 90 Wright brothers, 45 Mitchells, 25 Earharts, 14 Akers, and 1 Spots Award. You heard Colonel LaPrey say earlier, we have 3 Spots Awards now, just between the 1st of October and today. So that is fantastic progress, and I can only speculate as to the cause, but I would guess it's the fact that our cadets are now spending more of their time on achievements now that they don't have as many in-person activities to concern themselves with, and perhaps similarly, they're spending more of their time studying, outside of the school environment. Nixing that morning bus ride, which can be 45 minutes to an hour for some, is a huge time saver.
So Major, you had mentioned something about CyberPatriot and the virtual option, just so people can get a feel for what that looks like. This is what it looks like. If you can see the photo that I shared just now, that's a laptop running one image. That's a laptop running another Windows image and another Windows image, and then a packet tracer over here. And then our team, with the exception of one team member here, was all virtual. They were all remote controlling these computers from their own home, and had 2 cadets on one computer at times. They were collaborating over Discord via voice channel the whole time. So the wing in general, and for CyberPatriot in particular, have really innovated to figure out ways to still collaborate and participate in events like this. And it's great to see the Airman Leadership School's success, and look forward to the Encampment success as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. The flexibility that we've had with CyberPatriot, again, it boosted attendance for that event alone, by about 50%. So yeah, the added flexibility of being able to do things remotely, I would argue is at the very least a boost to CyberPatriot, and I think we can make it a boost in a lot of other areas as well.
This question may be answered elsewhere, but if you would please indulge me, do we have an idea for timeline and timing for a winter encampment type of event?
I think we've done away with that idea for now for a winter event. I think we're looking towards summer of 2021, just so we can get the big name events scheduled.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I know at one point there was talk of a winter encampment, but it's good to know that that's the plan forward is for the summer encampment period, not for the winter. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I will release you all on break, and you can pick up the next event when it starts.
Sorry, Major, before we do head out for break, I have a survey that I'm typing in. If you would please go to that link, take the survey, post-session survey, let us know what you thought about it, and yeah, give us your feedback on how everything went and some ideas on if you think there are ways that we can improve the experience and the interaction. And the next session starts at the top of the hour. This session for moderator 2 for me is going to be the wing cyber experience. So please join us at the top of the hour for cyber.
Thanks, everybody.